Hi. Welcome to the Global Speaker Spotlight. My name is Darrell James, and I am going to be speaking today on relationships. I'm going to be speaking today on relationships, something that I love doing, something I love doing. I'm a certified relationship life coach, life and guidance coach, and I also work with couples and families as well. And like I say, singles, couples, married, looking to get married, looking to run away from marriage, whatever you're trying to do. But either way, I'm going to be talking just briefly with you about relationships. I want to start off simply by being honest. Okay, my first book, Relationship Realities, it had a warning label. My first book had a warning label. Relationship Realities had a warning label. And a lot of people was wondering, Darrell, why would you put a warning label on a book? Why would you put a warning label on a book? And I say it because this book is going to be about the realities of relationships. Okay, the realities of relationships. One of the things that happens a lot of times in life is we are guided by what I like to say the six things that everybody have a goal to accomplish in life, and that is school. We first go to school, kindergarten. So we're born, first day of school, kindergarten is a life achievement. Okay, second one is exiting high school, graduation, high school from our graduation from high school, another big accomplishment. Then of course college, and then the big one that we push people toward because we believe that it is something that everybody should get a chance to experience, and that is a marriage. A marriage, okay? And it's ironic that we do that. However, unfortunately, we don't oftentimes teach people how to make those marriages be successful. Okay, those marriages be successful. And so a lot of them tend to fail. If you were to look at research where we look at um, marriages, the divorce rate and everything, the divorce rate, it seesaws back and forth. Some years it's very high, some years it's go down. During COVID, okay, just of recent, about 2 months ago, we're all familiar with Ozempic. Ozempic had come out this miracle weight loss drug, and there was no research on it. There's no research on it. So now Ozempic's been around a couple of years, and there is actually research on Ozempic. What was interesting when I received some of the research on from the relationship aspect, it was really interesting because they say what happened was they said a lot of people got on Ozempic and they finally got to the ideal weight they wanted to be their whole life. Okay, so you're talking people that were 300 plus pounds plummeted down and after a year or so on Ozempic, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter, depending on of course the dosage, plummeted down to 180, 150. So guess what? Oh, I got a new body. So now I can live the life I want. The biggest research from Ozempic was the divorce rate. The divorce rate. They say that especially in the state of Florida, for instance, in the state of Florida, over 67% of the people that got on Ozempic divorce. Crazy stats, right? Crazy stats. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Oftentimes in relationships, we tend to get comfortable with the person we're in the relationship with. We get comfortable to the fact of they see me when I wake up and I have my hair done. They see me when I don't have any hair for me. They see me when I hadn't had the opportunity to dye my hair to get rid of the grays. They see me do that. And so we tend to settle. We tend to settle. They see me when I'm overweight. They see me when I have on very little clothing. I don't have to cover up. Well, here it is. Ozempic comes along. This miracle drug comes along, and guess what happens? Now those people that were covered up, they've lost the weight that they want to lose, and guess what? Now they can go to the beach in the bikinis, in the speedos, whatever. Okay, and they look at that significant other. Hey, guess what? I don't have to put up with you no more. I don't have to put up with the attitude. I don't have to put up with the nagging. So we're done. Crazy stats, crazy stats. But either way, what I'm going to talk to you briefly about, you're going to see me look down at my watch occasionally because this is only 15 minutes, okay? And once I get into talking about special relationships, I tend to sometimes forget about my time, but it's 3:04 now and 31 seconds. So I'm going to be making sure that I'm on time. Yeah, but here it is. Here it is. what I like to do is I like to whenever I do seminars or workshops, I always like to first identify a problem, identify what I'm talking about, and then I like to give a solution. Okay, I like to give a solution. That's the same one I'm going to do today. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about, real brief, is I'm going to be talking about relationships. Relationships. How do we get into relationships and we make them work? Okay, I am tired of being single. I am tired of going from boyfriend to girlfriend, from girlfriend to boyfriend, from girlfriend to wife, or from wife to wife, or husband to husband, divorce, whatever. I'm tired of all that. So, Darrell, talk to me about what I can do to have a successful relationship, successful marriage. I want to be with my forever, forever. I'm tired of shifting back and forth. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Okay, and guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to you in only two steps. I'm gonna give it to you in two steps. Okay, so I know you're wondering, like, oh my gosh, how is it this guy is gonna come along and tell me how to make my relationship successful in only two steps? I gotta listen to this. Okay, trust me, guys. I'm gonna give you two steps. Okay, I'm gonna give you two steps. Before I do that, though, I have disclaimers I give every time I talk, every time I speak, every time I teach at my job. I give some disclaimers. Okay, the first disclaimer is we have to understand we have to understand that oftentimes we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Somebody say, Darrell, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you what that means. I'm going to tell you what that means. What that simply means, guys, is that we don't know everything without finding out about everything. Okay. Give you a perfect example. I have a friend. She's a doctor. Okay. She's a doctor. And about a year ago, 2 years ago, I pulled up in my Chevrolet Traverse. She pulled up in her Audi, very nice Audi. Husband had got it for Christmas. Okay, and I was on my phone. And she parked right beside me. She sat in her car listening to my conversation. Okay, and she goes, "Darrell, were you just on the phone?" I said, "Yeah." She say, "Your truck has a telephone in it?" I say, "So does your car." "No, it don't." "Yes, it does." "I drive an Audi. I am sure that your car has the ability to where your telephone can be hooked up to it. Okay, because if Chevrolet did it, I know Audi had to do it." She said, "No." I said, "You want me to set it up for you?" She said, "Set it up." "What do you mean set it?" I said, "Let me set up your phone." I say, "Let me hold your phone. I'm gonna sit in your driver's seat for a while, and I'm just watch how I do it." Now, guys, let me tell you what's really funny about this. I took her cell phone, started the car, took her cell phone. I looked down at the console in the middle. Her console had a picture of a telephone. I took her telephone and I set it on the picture. Her car immediately. "Hello, Doctor Boom Boom Boom. Your phone is now connected to your vehicle." She was like, "Oh my goodness, what did you just do?" I didn't do anything. I just saw a picture of a telephone and I set your phone on top of the picture. Your phone is already integrated to your car. But why didn't the dealership tell me that? Why is not the dealership job to tell me that? Okay. But here it is, guys. Catch this. She's the best doctor that I've ever worked with. I've worked in hospitals my whole life. She's the best doctor I've ever worked with. She's the best psychiatrist. She's good at what she do. But guess what, guys? She was not taught how to connect stuff. She was not taught technology. She was taught how to be a doctor. Okay, so therefore, I always let people know we have to understand we don't know what we don't know. Okay. The second one is we have to be aware that we can't address something that we're afraid to acknowledge. So, Darrell, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is, in order to help your relationships get better or repair your relationships, you first have to acknowledge that there is a problem in the relationship. Okay, fair enough. Here it is. You cannot address what you're afraid to acknowledge, and then you don't know what you don't know. Okay, so that's it. Okay, remember those two things, guys. Remember those two things. Okay. Now here it is. First thing I want to tell you guys, so briefly, I'm going to talk to you about just briefly. I'm down to about 10 minutes now. I want to talk to you simply about actually about 6 minutes. Okay, how to make my relationship better. I want to find my forever. I want to be forever with this person I'm with. Da, da, da. Okay, first one, guys, is we have to learn. to be willing to give what we're expecting to receive. Okay, be willing to give what we're expecting to receive. What do I mean by that? When I grew up, I was always taught to I was always taught about what's called the golden rule. Golden rule is simple. It's a biblical passage that simply says, treat others as you would wish for them to treat you. Okay, the golden rule simply says, treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Okay, same thing. Just a play on words. Okay, what does that mean? It means that if I am going to be with you as my significant other, then I'm going to treat you the same way that I want you to treat me. Okay? I'm going to treat you with respect, with dignity. I'm going to make sure that I'm communicating. I want to make sure that I'm not assuming that you know how I feel. I'm going to make sure that I am telling you what I feel. I'm going to make sure that I'm telling you what I desire. I'm going to make sure that I'm treating you the way I want you to treat me. Okay? Because I am going to treat you in the way of what I'm expecting you to treat me, how I'm expecting you to treat me. Okay, so guys, that is first. That is first. Okay, we have to have expectations in our relationship. You have to have expectations in our relationship. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna dive really deep with that one real quick. I'm gonna dive really deep with that one real quick. I tell young people, young couples especially, okay, set the expectations down to the exact, down to the specific. Darrell, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that again? Here it is. It's just as simple. Okay, what I mean by that is I'm going to talk to my significant other about the things that I see as red flags as well as green flags. What do I mean? Okay, so, um, honey, I'm going to work late tonight. Okay, I just wanted to let you know so that in case there was plans, you know I'm going to be working late, so you won't have anything, you won't make plans or anything that might have a problem. Is that okay? Now, Darrell, why would you ask your grown significant other, is it okay? I'm asking her that because I'm letting her know because that's how I will want to respond to me. I don't want to plan something and then 10 minutes outside of the time it's supposed to happen. Hey, gotta go. I gotta work. I forgot to tell you. Okay, so the first one, guys, is expect. I'm going to treat the other person the way that I expect and I desire them to treat me. Okay, so expectation. Second one, guys, is very simple. Second one, guys, is very simple. Okay, in your relationship, you have to be very intentional. You have to be very intentional. Okay, now I'm assuming that everyone watching this, we're all adults. Okay, there may be some younger people. That's fine. Okay, I do have a huge following of young people, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, have to be very intentional. What do I mean by that? If I want you to treat me with respect, communication, dignity, loyalty, and all the rest of those things, I'm going to be very intentional, making sure that I do that as well to you. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I'm being very intentional in everything I say and everything I do. Okay, as adults, one of the biggest things that ruin relationships, guys, one of the biggest things that ruin relationships is we tend to listen to a group of people called they. Who are those group of people called they? Okay, let me tell you. And yeah, some of you may laugh, and some of you may say like, "Oh my God," because you realize you're part of they. Okay, this is all it is. Well, Darrell, I don't want to do that because they say that when you do that, then you're being taken advantage of. Okay. Now, guys, in my closing, okay, because it's very close. Let me see, 3:13, 2 minutes. In my closing, I want to let this be known. Okay, guys, my website is darrelljames.org. 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 Please reach out, guys. If you know who they are, I've been chasing they my whole life. I tell people, guys, please give my them, them, my information so that I can let them know they have ruined us as a society. They've ruined us as a world. Because so many people follow they and never know who they are. Okay. So guys, be very intentional, set expectations, be sure that you're willing to give what you're expecting to receive, and then be very intentional in everything you do. Okay? Guys, please. I gave my website, darrelljames.org, DarrellJames.org, darrelljames.org. Social media, DarrellJ35, DarrellJ35, DarrellJ35. That is across Facebook, IG, across all social media. The same tag, Darrell James Darrell J35. Okay, Darrell J35. Website once again, DarrellJames.org, DarrellJames.org. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good day, and hoping to connect with you. Hoping to connect with you. Have a great day. Bye bye.